A very good evening, everyone. Welcome you back to Essay Perspectives. This is Vinay Kumar GB. We have resumed Essay Perspectives since last 3 weeks. So today's topic is the COVID pandemic has revealed the urgent need for effective governance everywhere. This is a very specific topic asked in the context of ongoing COVID pandemic that we have all been kind of victims in different dimensions. So this topic demands you to think really hard to come up with unique dimensions to differentiate your essay with other competitors that you are competing with in this examination. So we don't expect this topic to come as an essay topic this year or next year, but writing an essay of 1200 words on this topic, when especially the topic is very specific, gives you in-depth insights, perspectives to answer any other specific essays in maybe related to another specific topic. So hope you are able to relate to what I'm trying to say. So you have to force yourself to think really hard when the topic is really narrow in its scope, so that lets you think similarly in other different topics. So one or two such topics will be there in every year in the essay paper in mains. And as you know, we encourage you to write one essay every Sunday, every week. That will make you write 30-40 essays before next year mains. Do write one essay every Sunday. Now coming back to the topic, so you know that the COVID pandemic has kind of revealed weak governance structures everywhere. So we'll discuss what it means everywhere. The key word is weak effective governance, and the everywhere, and of course COVID pandemic, and also the urgent need. So that is also a key word here. The entire pandemic has demonstrated that without capable, accountable, inclusive, transparent, proactive, empathetic, participatory governments effectively addressing this pandemic and its associated challenges and emerging challenges that we have been lately witnessing have kind of remained pipe dream. We are unable to address these challenges because of weak governance. So that weak governance is witnessed at every level. That I will discuss in the another slide. So keeping that in mind, you should start with an introduction that allows a reader, to assess the in-depth understanding of this issue from your part. After the introduction, in this introduction, in these types of essay, don't start with a story and all. Maybe you can start with quoting 5 to 6 different recent instances, last 1 year, what we have witnessed at different levels, at institutional level, subnational level, national level, global level, and civil service level, political leadership level. So which are very unique and stand out, and then try to derive a common thread, that is lack of effective governance. So then after the introduction, you can talk about what do you mean by effective governance. Start with what is governance, and don't start your subheadings with what is effective governance. So the subheading should be something like effective governance is proactive governance, something like this. Effective governance is something pro people governance. Effective governance is something which allows us to manage uncertain situations very certainly. So something like this you can write your subheading. We see that the subheading start with question mark and a question like statement. Please try to avoid that. So that gives your essay the structure of frequently asked questions type of the flow. So avoid that. So here you define what is effective governance in your own words, and taking example from different, like if you have studied in public administration or political science or everywhere, try to write it in a very generalist sense here. And then once you define, then you have to start what are the rules of good governance, especially in the COVID context. So this is extremely important because you cannot just assume good governance in the light of civil services, in the light of just political governance, democracy, and all. So it's about risk governance. It's about building public trust. It's about regulation, regulation of different sectors involved. It may be education, it may be health, especially health, and then digital governance and data. So these are all the things, the ones I'm mentioning are extremely important parts of what we are witnessing as part of weak governance, which the COVID has exposed everywhere, irrespective of uh, nations or institutions that are involved. Then public integrity on behalf of a political leadership, on behalf of the trusted institutions that are constitutional and public institutions. And then budgeting and public management, with respect to allocation of resources wisely, innovatively. Then there is policy coherence and coordination. This policy coherence we are witnessing in the COVID. It was uncertain, sudden event. No, not so sudden, but the governments came up with incoherent policies and lack of coordination between different levels of governance. So in Secure and all, we have asked the implications of COVID for cooperative federalism and federalism as a whole. Like there are different aspects that you can discuss here, and then prevention of illicit trade in pharmaceuticals or in ingredients, and then there were certain people who tried to capitalize on the situation and try to come up with different products, immunity boosting products everywhere. If you look at advertisement, every product including the plywood you use has antiviral elements in it now. So it was restricted to sanitary products. Now every product that are part of the home. Now I think that they will come up with virus free cement, virus free steel, and all those things. So uh, whether it is illicit trade or whatever it is, but under this you can discuss all these things and how they reflect the weak governance, how the weak governance is allowing such kind of trade, such kind of unethical practices to uh, thrive in this grim period. And then evidence based policy making. So the policy making is not evidence based. The policy making is kind of impulsive, and it is top to down approach, and it's not bottom up approach. So there is no empirical evidence, and there is no study, there is no pilot based launching of the things. So it is all whims and fancies of a leader or some bureaucrat that is happening. So don't think only in the Indian context when you are discussing these issues. So you think of the whole of Africa, the whole of North America, Latin America, Europe, especially Europe, the China, like how different countries are responding differently. So with respect to all these aspects. And what about diversity and inclusion? So how it has the COVID has exposed through weak governance that the diversity and inclusive nature of governance has become a victim. How we have started to hate particular community, particular genders or whatever it is. So as part of the whole experience, and then public communication and transparency, how important it is to build public trust. And so we have witnessed multiple occasions that the communication was opaque, incoherent, and also uh, you know uh, uh, not trustworthy. So there was no clarity involved. And then with respect to procurement policies, and we have seen corruption with respect to procurement of even PPE kits and ventilators everywhere. So and now we will start witnessing that in the case of vaccines in future. So keeping all these in mind, stretching your essay into 1,200 words will not be a challenge. But what should be important is whenever you are arguing about these things, the kind of examples, the kind of arguments you come up with are extremely important. So they shouldn't be extreme, and they should be very objective. If you're talking about policy incoherence in the context of India, so don't be just critical. So be constructively critical. So the constructive criticism is extremely important. So what is constructive criticism? So you give both sides of the argument, and you also give a positive suggestion how to overcome the situation. So try to adopt that approach. So wherever you want to discuss the major issues related to the topic. So then what does it mean everywhere in the essay? So in the light of political leadership, global governance, transnational, subnational, at institutional level, and with respect to coordination and cooperation. So we are witnessing at every level, institutions, national and international level, and like subnational. There are so many federal states with so many states, and all at all levels, uh, there always existed weak governance. Now it has become more prominently visible thanks to COVID. So now in your essay, while discussing these things, the second half of your essay should be devoted to talk about how to overcome this, not just in terms of the COVID pandemic. So imagine if we witness other bigger challenges than COVID in future, how should they be ready for that? So what are the futuristic options, solutions, innovations that we will be requiring? If one is many people get carried away with the past. What I mean here is that, so they will just talk about what happened between January 2020 to December 2020. Now the futuristic dimension in your essay is extremely important, because that is where your imagination, creativity will be more visible. So importance of governance in post recovery phase, post pandemic phase, in terms of economic recovery, in terms of providing vaccines to everyone, in terms of rebuilding infrastructure, in terms of rebuilding the trust, in terms of rebuilding institutions, how the governance will be extremely important. So to highlight this, you should always try to give the contrasting example where the poor, despotic, backward states always struggle with such large events. It can be civil war, it can be war within them, uh, it can be natural disasters, it can be refugee crisis. So we have seen many African and countries in Middle East, and some Latin American countries, Central American countries. So have always lagged behind in terms of human development. So yeah, so that is another dimension, human development, so that you can link with the weak governance part. Now the globalization, what will happen to globalization within the prism of governance? So will protectionism be the way forward, and will economic crisis become even bigger in future? And what if there is economic recovery, is it going to help the poor people more or rich people more? So recently there was a chart. So in 2020 the biggest gainers in terms of economic wealth were large automobile companies, oil companies, and these all online digital companies, Zoom, Apple, Microsoft, Elon Musk, Tesla, and all. So the divide is deepening again, right? So when inequality is deepening, so do you call it as great efficient governance? So even if there is economic boom throughout the country, so in the Indian context, like what is happening with the agriculture? So agriculture may not be directly related with the pandemic situation, but how the pandemic was used as an excuse to come up with certain legislations that were not accepted universally. So you can talk in that sense. So is strengthened democracy a solution? Like what is happening in China now? China is thriving. Is the fastest growing nation in the world now. But whereas democracies are struggling with managing the situation now, the so-called oldest democracy and largest democracy are the biggest victims of COVID. and they are like have suffered so bad compared to all other nations. So, is democracy a best bet against such uh, situations, like pandemics? So that you can have a critical look, but end it with a positive note, saying that ultimately democracy is the solution. So, but you should give a very strong reason. That can be another essay topic itself, but spending 200, 300 words talking about this dimension. So, in the governance sense, like China can be touted as the best governed and effectively governed state. But again, governance also includes public trust, as we discussed in the earlier. So, keeping those elements, you can come up with the argument that the democracy is the best bet. So, what about the role of civil services, civil society, and stronger, flexible, proactive, empathetic civil service? So that topic is also there in paper too. So you can interlink certain topics in the paper too, and talk about the role of bureaucracy and especially civil services in these situations in ensuring effective governance. So everything you discuss should be put under the dimension of urgent need. So that urgent need should be highlighted whenever you discuss any dimension. So this should be highlighted by talking about repercussions. So if we do not act right now, what are the repercussions? For example, the COVID has pushed nearly 900 million people into the poverty. So all the gains that we made since 1990 in terms of human development indices are retreating. So our the indicators are again performing worse than uh, they are at before 1990 levels again. And so there is fall in productivity in across all the sectors, and then economic decline is so visible everywhere, and the virus has affected all societies irrespective of regardless of levels of human development or political preferences. So everything has been so harsher. So why that urgent need, that should be stressed really well throughout the essay. So keep all of these things in mind and write a very good essay. So in the conclusion, as I keep always saying, try to sound more optimistic, more hopeful, more futuristic, more positive. So that always gives a sense of you know positivity for a reader, and you who is going to become a civil servant yourself should always send things like this on a positive note. So wish you all the best. Take care. Thank you so much.